You are a prolific play-by-play announcer. What does broadcasting of tennis look like at the U.S. Open? Do we see a change in that as well? You guys going to be on other sides of the court?
I think there's going to be a huge change. I mean, first of all, with no fans, it's going to be a whole different sound that you hear over there. In fact, I was on a Zoom call with all of our announcers at ESPN and our coordinating producer just the other day when the USA announced their plan. So it's going to affect our plans, in a big way, not just obviously the production side, how many people are allowed on the site, who's allowed to get into the facility. Well, what if we have a courtside person that we normally do? The players will be able to hear them because there'll be no fans.
Yeah.
There's no buzz, even the commentators. So the one part of it is it will likely be the only broadcasting company there because of this. So all the Europeans and the international television companies will likely not be there. So that means that all those areas where they normally rent them out from the USA will be open. So I don't think we'll have any trouble meaning at ESPN distancing. If you could even have two commentators in a commentary booth, because they're usually pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, you could just put one here, one there, and spread us out pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean, it is comical to think that they might hear you guys.
I know, because usually at Arthur Ashe Stadium, we're about midway up in the stadium, but it's open, because it gives you a feel, it gives you fresh air, you get a feel for the environment. But if there's no people there, the players will definitely be able to hear it.
Yeah.
So, particularly in a broadcasting voice, we're usually, up the volume a little bit. So, Wimbledon, for example, we're right next to the court when we do the Wimbledon final from what's called the bunker there, right by courtside. So when the players play, we close the window because otherwise they could hear you very clearly. You're so close to the court. So depending on what the tournament is, what the environment is, we're pretty much used to whatever it is. I used to call tons of matches when I first started ESPN from the studio in Connecticut.
Sure.
Call the Italian Open, call the French Open. So,
yeah.
And Tennis Channel still does that. So that's certainly doable. It's always better to be there and to feel the energy, I was going to say, the players and the crowd, but there will be no crowd. So the other question is, do you bring in sound? Do you come up with fake sound? Like they're doing that in Europe and in soccer.
Mm-hmm.
They're having one channel where you can listen to just the sound of what's going on in the field, and then they have another one that has sort of simulated crowd noise as well. So I think they let the viewer decide which one they'd like to do. It's like an SAP button on your TV if you want to hear in Spanish. So they might try to do that in tennis as well. It's an opportunity for us in broadcasting, certainly to try some different things, because obviously we're going to have to keep the attention of the viewer without having, the crowd and all the different shots you can show. Because remember, in a tennis match, you're just watching two players.
Yeah.
A golf tournament's different. You follow a golf tournament, you can hop around to each different hole, and even on the final round, you can see loads of different players. Tennis, you've got to do a little more sometimes just to entertain the audience than just having two players, particularly if the match isn't that compelling.